9 games, I think, nearly a decade as well. 2016 was the last time, and they got the victory.
Yeah, of course, the biggest game in English football. Amazing start, and that man, Mbeumo, someone who, amazing signing. I've always liked him, the goals that he's got at Brentford. But it's always a difficult place to go and end up conceding. But we spoke about this cross, didn't we, Tim?
Yeah.
This is unbelievable, by the way. That's world class, because a lot of players would have took 2 touches, but to pull it in an area right on Harry Maguire's head and to finish in that fashion, massive for the club.
Maybe their luck's changed. Let's face it, Liverpool had enough chances to win that football match. They've had to change the goalpost because it got hit so many times. But Man United got a result, and that's all that matters. The result really matters. And I hope it's a springboard for them to really move on, but they have to back it up and they have to beat Brighton.
Yeah, back-to-back wins for the first time this season. You're talking about a springboard. Just take us into the psychology of a Premier League team that's struggling and then suddenly gets 2 wins in a row.
It's Manchester United. It's one of the biggest clubs. You have to win back-to-back games, and for them not to do it for such a long period. But now they've got an opportunity to build on that as well. So the confidence what they've had from the week, forget the performance was decent enough. I think the manager's done a good job with Lamens, the goalkeeper. I think he's not asking him to play out in silly areas around his penalty area. He's saying go long, let's go over the top. He's a good kicker off both feet, long. Get the ball up into the opposition's half, win the second balls, because they played without Šeško, so they didn't have a centre-back. Against Sunderland, they still played long and they played into Šeško. Be interesting to see which team he picks, but they've got good players in offensive areas. Mason Mount looks like he's playing within a rhythm now. Cunha, I really like in Mbeumo. So their strength is forward players. Their weakness is still the defence and the midfield legs. We talked about it. Bruno's obviously a fantastic player, but he's, like Jay says, with that pass, not many players can do that. You need him in the opposition's penalty area. That's where you need it, in and around there. Casemiro's still in the side, but lacks a little bit of mobility, but plenty of know-how. So hopefully they can build on it and we can start talking again on a positive frame about Manchester United.
Well, since you mentioned the defence, and Harry Maguire was the match winner at Anfield, Ruben Amorim was asked about Maguire's future with the defender's current contract nearing its end.
His contract's up next summer. Would you like him to stay at the club?
We are really happy with Harry. It's not the time to talk about that again, because that gives the idea that we are thinking so far away. We are really happy with Harry. He's really important for us, but we need to focus on the next game.
And the next game is Brighton. It is a tough one for them.
Of course, it's a difficult game. They're playing well at the minute. And my mate Danny Welbeck seems to be on fire. As he's getting older, he seems to be getting better, which is obviously nice to see. And that, but listen, in the Premier League, all the games are difficult. You have to make the games easy. You have to show up and that. But it'd be interesting now to see what Man United turns up. But I mean, that's a confident centre forward.
Yeah.
Because when you go through on goal, sometimes you overthink and you don't finish how you meant to finish. But they're a team. I've always enjoyed watching Brighton. Such a good team.
Jay, Danny's next in. If anything happens to Harry Kane, in my opinion, he's the next in line. I mean, we've got to manage now Thomas Tuchel, who's not afraid to pick. He's younger than Jordan Henderson, so why not? Well, who else is there? Who else is there at the moment? If it's not going to be Harry Kane, it won't be Ollie Watkins.
No.
Danny Welbeck's ahead of him. They're different types of players, and it won't be Rashford who wants to play on the left-hand side. I think Danny Welbeck is forcing his way, and I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps himself fit and the form what he's in, the next international break, which is a couple of weeks away, he gets a call-up.
And he's played in major tournaments, so he knows what it's about. He's got the experience in that, but it's just so nice to see that. It's almost like he's got to a stage in his life now where he understands his body more at that age. But even a second goal, calculated finish. He looks so confident in a minute, and like you said, he could easily force his way in that squad.
Yeah, he turned the game on its head against Chelsea as well. And he's a former Manchester United player, so playing against his former team, that's always a factor.
He's going to want to score, of course.
Yeah.
And not celebrate, probably not, because obviously he was there, he came through the academy.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's going to be an interesting game. Man United obviously going into the game confident, even probably more confident, because when you win the game, not only winning against Liverpool, but like I said before, winning that way, like last minute goal, it just seems a little bit more. But Brighton are a good team. They're a very good team.
Yeah, and they're 4 games unbeaten now. There was a little bit of consistency about them earlier on in the season. That seems to have steadied out now. Would you agree?
With Brighton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the manager. I really spiky. You know, he's got a nasty little streak in him, which is a good compliment for me to give to him. You know, he's a winner. You know, he doesn't suffer fools. And he believes that his group of players, and he gives the group confidence that they can take on anyone. And they don't veer away from the playing style which he implements. I really like him, and they know what they are as well. Brighton, they're probably the best run club in the Premier League. They recruit fantastically, not only players but managers as well, and they sell at top money, as you've seen down the years, and normally to Chelsea.
Is the next goal for Fabian Hutzler then to qualify for Europe this season?
Yeah, I can imagine. You know, internally, you know, it's something that they would want to achieve, of course. Because, like, you know, when the clubs run in that way, it's the right way to do it. So, yeah, of course, internally, yeah. But, you know, on the outside, you know, they'll probably say, you know, take each game as it comes and just keep winning football matches. You know, keep winning football matches. And with this team, I mean, you never know. You never know with this team. Because, like I keep saying, you know, they're such a good team to watch. They've got good players, they've got match winners. And if that does happen, you know, it'd be fantastic for everyone involved in the club.
All right, that's Bournemouth then.
So Manchester United finally have back-to-back wins under Ruben Amorim, but can they make it 3 on the bounce against Brighton on the Saturday night football? It'll be a massive day for Bruno Fernandes as he makes his 300th appearance for the club, and today Amorim has revealed just what an influence Bruno is at the club.
What I was expecting, everything you read about the player sometimes is not that. You can understand sometimes, and I already spoke about that. The frustration that he feels is because he wants to help a lot the teammates. Sometimes it's not the best way, but he comes from a good place, and you don't know that when you are not here. He wants the responsibility all the time. He suffered a lot with the losses. Every time we don't win a game, you can feel it that he take it personally, as you should be as a captain. He's a great leader, a great footballer. Let's see if he's going to reach that mark tomorrow.
Well, speaking on his future amid reports that he could leave next summer, right? So Bruno has said, as I've always said, I feel good here. I want to achieve my dreams still, but obviously I can't talk by the side of the club. I've seen a lot of news. I've seen people talking that I had an agreement to go already next season. Now, if the club has done that agreement, it wasn't made with me. He goes on to say, my agent knows how I work, so if he wants to talk to me, it'll be after the World Cup, because until then, I won't speak to anyone. I like that. Yeah. Not speaking to anyone until the World Cup. I like that he's putting a message out there to speak to his own agent. I've never seen that one before. But look, Ash, you know, when it comes to Bruno, should United try and keep Bruno Fernandes at their club at all costs?
Yep, definitely. I think he's dragged them through all these hard times. I think I think the manager nails it. Sometimes it's so frustrating watching him because he does so much and it kind of pulls the team out. But I do think it's for the right reasons. I do think he tries to lead by example always. He always wants the ball, maybe too much at times where he can be a bit ill-disciplined within the shape that Amorim wants. But why would you let someone like that go? I don't think he's a top quality midfield player, one of the best in the league. They would be silly, I think, in the position they're in, to let Bruno Fernandes go. I don't think he wants to go necessarily. He's kind of stuck by Manchester United. He always comes out, he always fronts it up, even through the tough times. And it would be a big blow for the club if he went.
But as you said, do you not think if he is causing that little bit of disruption within the formation, within the tactics, who's at fault for that then? Is it the manager or is it him?
Well, it's probably a little bit of both, but I think it's his eagerness to affect the game, and he breaks position too early possibly, so he can't play in one of the two deeper roles, and he doesn't